Well, happening today, Governor Brad Little is supposed to speak about reopening schools. This week in North Idaho, health officials released new information on community spread to help guide our local schools through the reopening process.
Schools are back in session with students in crowded hallways and hotspots around the country. This morning, we want to know what you think would make classrooms safest. Head to the KREM 2 app to vote now. We're showing those results next.
And this morning, we're getting a peek inside the new Amazon Fulfillment Center in Spokane County.
Up with KREM begins now.
7:30 on your Thursday morning. Thank you so much for being with us. A fun way to start our show, another win for the Mariners. They beat the Angels last night 7-6, a pretty close game there. But that wasn't even the highlight of the game. Third baseman Kyle Seager hit his 200th home run of his career. The Mariners are playing the Angels again this afternoon. So if you didn't catch that game, you have another chance. Look at all that, how fun all those people on Zoom celebrating as well. You probably noticed in the crowd those cardboard cutouts. It's a weird time, but Tim, at least baseball is happening, right?
Yeah, at least it's happening. You know, it's definitely a different time, but you know, it's pretty interesting. I've heard so many cool stories of people that are, buying those cutouts. It's a great way to put some fans in the stands, and it's not the same, I'm sure, but I'm sure the players appreciate it.
Oh, totally. And right now, not great baseball weather though, right? Because Evan Arani's going to tell us we have some weather coming our way.
Thanks to everyone joining us on your Thursday morning. We are one day away from Friday, and with it, changes coming weather-wise. We've seen some warm temperatures, sunny conditions as well. Now a cold front passing through, and that's what we see on the satellite radar view as we speak. Cloud cover pretty significant, and all the green on the screen, as we say, affecting mainly the northeast corner of Washington. I'll give you a little drawn-out portion of where we're seeing the bulk of activity take place right now, but we're also seeing some moving farther north, so from the south. If I pause this at where we are right now, you can get kind of a better indication of also some thunderstorms down toward the bottom of your screen there. So that's another trouble spot to keep an eye on. Looking at our wind speeds, it's no surprise that it is breezy out there to start off the day. 14-mile-an-hour sustained speeds in Spokane, 15 in Wenatchee, and 10 in Moses Lake. You want to make sure to keep in mind that fire danger can still be elevated even at times when we see rain. So that's still a concern over the next several hours and the next day or so as breezy winds pick up. Hour by hour, we're going to be seeing a good chance for showers to remain. Overnight low temperatures probably not going to hit for about another couple hours. Upper 60s expected. And then we warm up to the upper 70s and 80s. Notice that that is much colder, or at least cooler territory than where we've been for the last week or so. In the triple digits in 90-degree territory, this cold front is really going to pack a punch as far as the impacts temperature-wise. Today, upper 70s and low 80s. Tomorrow, upper 70s. And then we start the slow and steady climb back up to the upper 80-degree territory, which will come by next week.
Thank you, Evan. Here are 3 things you need to know today. Up first, there's a free mask giveaway in Coeur d'Alene today. The fire and police department are giving away nearly 4,000 masks. The drive is happening at Lake City High School on North Ramsey. It starts at 10 and ends at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The drive-through entrance is on the north parking lot near the football field off Hanley Avenue. Second, Alaska Airlines is now making masks mandatory this week. The only exception is for children under 2 years old. Now, previously, the airline said passengers with medical exemptions wouldn't have to wear a mask, but now this is how it changed. They posted their new policy on Twitter saying, if you can't wear a mask, you're not able to fly with us. For passengers who don't comply, the flight attendant will hand them a yellow card, which will result in future travel suspension. The new rule goes into effect on Friday. And Silverwood Theme Park just announced its decision to cancel Scarywood for the 2020 season. Even though there won't be any scares happening, the park will be open on weekends from September 12th through October 25th if the weather permits it. Park leaders say they're unable to operate the event while maintaining guidelines recommended by the CDC and Panhandle Health District. The theme park posted on Facebook saying, "Our team at Scarywood is looking forward to returning to your nightmares in the future." A lot of fun there. Hopefully that could happen soon. All right, Tim, I'll send it over to you.
Dana Marie, thank you. Well, we are here to help you navigate all of the changing information surrounding back to school. In North Idaho, the Panhandle Health District releasing new guidelines showing how to determine the level of community spread. It will be used by districts making back to school decisions. So let's break down each of the categories. Category 1 is no community transmission. This means school buildings could be open with physical distancing and sanitation. Category 2, meanwhile, is minimal to moderate community transmission, meaning multiple cases from widespread transmission. Under Category 2, school buildings can be open, but they would operate on limited or staggered use of buildings. Category 3 is substantial community transmission. Under Category 3, a county would have to have multiple localized outbreaks, and healthcare staffing would be impacted. According to the guidelines, counties in Category 3 would close school buildings. As of this week, Kootenai, Benewah, Bonner, Boundary, and Shoshone counties are all classified as Category 2 by the Panhandle Health District. Now that these protocols are somewhat unusual for Washington these days, because rather than being a requirement, they're simply a recommendation. So what does that mean for school districts, and why not make it a mandate? Our Casey Decker has the answers.
Now, it's important to make a distinction here. There are some mandates still being issued by the state, but those have to deal with how to handle in-person instruction if it exists. These new recommendations are about whether or not to have in-person instruction to begin with. All schools in the state will still be required to follow social distancing, mask, and sanitation rules. But Inslee and the state superintendent have provided uniform guidance to districts without requiring uniform decisions. So why is that? Why not make it an order like almost everything else? Well, for one, the governor says he wants to respect the autonomy of communities to run their own schools.
There's been a tradition of local decision-making by local communities where school boards that are democratically elected, just like Chris and I are, they also have responsibility.
Secondly, Inslee says this guidance is something that districts have been asking for, so he doesn't expect much resistance from them.
The large majority of the communities that have made a decision one way or another have made decisions consistent with our recommendations.
But perhaps the most significant reason, flexibility. That's needed because the different risk levels are broken up by county, but school districts, of course, are not. That means a big city like Spokane could be weighing down the numbers for the whole county. And that might not be fair to a smaller district in the same county, like 9 Mile Falls. If the virus is better contained there, it doesn't make much sense to lump them in with Spokane.
It does give them some flexibility in this regard, and we do have some districts with very low activity.
Furthermore, some districts cross multiple counties. So making the county-based guidelines a mandate would create a very confusing situation for those districts. Basically, the idea here is to provide districts with the expectations for what should go into their decision-making processes, but to give them the freedom to make the decision that's actually best for them. Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
All right, thank you so much, Casey. Piggybacking on that topic, what's trending this morning, most schools in our area are making back to school plans for this week or for after Labor Day. But schools around the country are actually starting school already. What do you think would make classrooms safer? We definitely want to know what you think. Head to the KREM 2 app to vote now. 30% are saying requiring masks. 55% of you, which has really won all morning long, leading in the percentage polls, is nothing. So most of you this morning are saying nothing would make schools safer. Now, we're looking at what's happening around the country. In Georgia, just 2 days into the school year, a teacher and 20 students had to be quarantined after a second grader tested positive. Over at the Mississippi School District, 6 students have tested positive. 116 students and staff are now quarantined. But then the nation's third largest school district, Chicago, announced its more than 350,000 students will begin the school year online. Now this week, President Trump again said he believes that it's safe for schools to reopen. The president also said the virus would one day go away on its own. So Facebook later deleted a link to Trump's comments, saying that it violated the policy on coronavirus misinformation. So I want you to take a look at these photos. They show students packed inside a hallway in Florida where masks are optional. Now parents all around the country are debating whether or not it's even worth it to send their kids back to school. Most districts in our area are planning on options for parents who want to keep their kids home this fall. Now this morning, of course, we definitely want to know what you think. What would make classrooms safer? We asked this question on Facebook and our texting line, and we've gotten some parents weighing in this morning. We got this one from a parent in the 9 Mile area. She says, yes, I think they should go back to school. They say their students had to do schoolwork over the summer. This parent said they had dealt with laptop issues and spotty internet. Shout out to the parents doing most in the Deer Park area. And we also got this comment from our viewer, Patricia. She says, the online thing just didn't work for my kids. I wish there was some kind of compromise for those families that struggle with online instruction. I would even be much happier with a weekly classroom pickup. So she says, my kids work much better with work from a worksheet or a book. I fear mine will be completely lost online this year. That's a great point. I mean, it's tough for students to completely make that shift. So used to hands-on workbooks, textbooks, and now completely online. I don't know how I would learn that way, but you know, it's so great to hear from parents online this morning.
Yeah, you know, you think about the technology challenges, Dana Marie. You know, I know in college I had an online class and there were so many technical problems, and also it was my lowest grade in college. So I could see it's challenging for parents to navigate all these tech problems too.
Oh, totally. And students are doing a great job at that, but there's only so much they can do to make it feel normal.
Right, so please keep weighing in our poll and text us to give us your response, 509-448-2000. Dana Marie, thank you. We're finally getting a peek inside the Amazon Fulfillment Center, and we asked them if Spokane will ever get same-day deliveries.